Now, we talked about learning. Let's talk about fundamentals. We're giving the Eastern philosophy and spirituality, but we live in a Western premise. So that's the war of the mind right there. And the most essential element in life is water. Now, everybody quotes Bruce Lee as be like water. It forms, it bends, and blahs and blahs, and yeah, no doubt. But water is the most crucial element in all religions. What's the beginning of the Bible?
The earth was formed void of water.
No,
Started with water.
Started with water.
Correct.
But that's not the beginning of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Because the world was destroyed with water.
Correct.
To be made cleansed.
Correct.
Then after Moses, was it Moses? No, Moses. Noah.
Noah.
The world was destroyed with water to make it cleansed. And
But
it
Noah
was
wasn't
fire.
a person. Noah was an event.
Okay, no doubt.
No, I'm just saying as far as, because the thing about spirituality is we have to understand how they twist these things. The Bible doesn't give any dates. So because it doesn't give any dates, it throws your mind off. Now everybody wants to know when does this happen and things of that nature. But science will tell you that approximately 18 million years ago there was a great deluge in which the sun was actually giving the planet water. And like people was like, whoa, how in the world does that happen? Not in the sense of physical water. We have to understand that water has 4 different states: liquid, solid, gas, and plasma. You understand? We have water under the planet that's in molten rock. How in the world does this happen? That's because water has the ability to change its physical format. So when it comes up to the surface, then you can see it as a beautiful ocean. So the great deluge, or the great flooding that took place, destroyed the world as it was and created a new world that we see today.
And we're bringing that back now to the body.
Mm-hmm.
Because the body is composed naturally.
70% water.
70% water.
Mm-hmm.
There was a famous line in hip hop that said, God, if you flip yourself inside out and see what goes on inside, you flip out and die.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have no understanding of the system, which is ran by water.
Mm-hmm.
Even you have a water product.
That's right.
Talk about it.
All right, so my water product is called Herbitroph, and Herbitroph literally means to be nourished by herbs, right? And the problem that I saw was that a lot of people were taking pills, right? And if you know anything about pills, and now you're gonna know about it, is that the body only absorbs 39 to 53% of a pill. You understand what I'm saying? So you're not even getting the full benefit of the pill. Now, the reason why I created the Herbitroph is because when you study a cell, right? A cell has different openings in it, and those openings are called aquaporins. And the only way that nutrients can get in a cell is through water, through the aquaporins. As the water goes into the aquaporin, it nourishes the cytoplasm and the mitochondria and the whole cell nucleus and things of that nature. So doing that, I understood that now I have to create water in a liquid aspect in order for it to usher into the cell, and then the herbs can spread across the cell and heal the cell. 98% of all liquid extracts, including water, is absorbed by the small intestines. So that means that when you put something solid down into your body, it has to be broken down by the stomach and its acids, and then it goes on to the small intestine in order to be absorbed. When you drink water, it bypasses that, goes to the small intestine, and automatically gets absorbed into that whole spectrum of things. So water, like you said, is very essential to our health and in order to us to get the maximum aspect of being healed. Also, the way they test for DNA is using swabs or using saliva, right? So now we have to think to ourselves, if they test for DNA in our saliva, that means they can either put our DNA to sleep with our saliva, or we can wake it up with our saliva. So all the foods that we're eating can possibly put your DNA to sleep or put it dormant. You understand what I'm saying? And now is a spiritual time of awakening. The sun is rapidly giving off solar flares and solar energies, letting us know that it's waking up itself. So what does that mean for the people on the planet? I mean, even Bill Gates is trying to block out the sun. I don't know if anybody has read that, but he's trying to block out the sun because the sun is giving off this ferocious energy, which is a time of awakening. That's why in the Bible, a lot of people that follow the Bible, it says it's going to happen with fire. Yes, the sun is that fire that people are speaking about. Also, the fact that global warming is happening as well. Is it a bad thing? On one side, yes. On the other side, no. We cannot be afraid like white people are afraid. They're afraid because as it gets hotter, clearly they're going to be eradicated. They cannot exist past a certain heat index. You understand what I'm saying? So this is why they're scratching and fighting to be, to get rid of the sun and sunscreen and things like that. But as black people, we should not fear. But going back to water, water is very essential to our health. And it's the only way to get inside of the cell.
Now, I want to go back to what you said when it comes to water. The FDA makes billions and trillions of dollars off of dehydration. People say that stress is the #1 killer of people, where actually it's dehydration. Dehydration is the thing that, I mean, let's just use common sense. If your body's composed of water naturally, and your body cleanses itself, what should you make sure is clean?
Water.
Water in your body. That's
correct.
your filter.
That's right.
When you go to a hospital, what's the first thing they put into you? An IV. It's water.
In some countries, they use alkaline water.
Well, everything's supposed to be alkaline. If you look at it, they put it in. Look, if you go to a hospital, they put in tap water in your veins, you're dead.
Basically,
that's lye and lead and all types of stuff. So you're dead. But I want to take it back to education now. When I was in school, they used to tell us you cannot eat things off of trees in the nature. It has to come from the supermarket because that's poisonous, and the supermarket makes it clean. That was actually taught in the school system. Like I said, we don't own our school system.
Yeah, that's
but
crazy.
these are things that we were taught. And now you have billion-dollar companies who will take the natural resources and make it an economical boom when God gave it to you for free.
Facts.
So the simple fact that now we're working on how to make alkaline water, how to make herbal water, I think is the bastardization of life in its most simple form.
Correct.
How do we respect life and give life back to ourselves and our children so that they can reason, be analytical, and logical at the same time?
We have to, the way that we respect life is to respect ourselves. The only way that you can do that is to respect yourself. Once you respect yourself, then you will also respect life because you're respecting nature in general. We have to understand that we are a part of nature, right? And if we disrespect ourselves, we are also disrespecting those around us, and they're disrespecting all those elements in nature as well. When it comes to food and nutrition, this particular society thrives on altering certain foods and altering the way that we intake certain foods. You said alkaline water. Alkaline water is good, but only for a certain point of time. You can only use alkaline water up to a certain point of time, and then you kind of gotta wean off of it because then it turns. It actually is. It works in reverse. The best type of water is spring water, which is alkaline, because that water is not, you don't use a system, it's basically coming directly from the planet. But to respect the earth, we have to move out of this environment. Meaning that now we have to go to a place where when we take something, we give it back. So if you eat from a tree, let's say a mango or a peach or whatever the case may be, you got to take that seed and plant it. What we do in this society is take a seed and throw it in the garbage.
Why?
There's nowhere to plant it.
Lies. And the reason why we do that is because that's in the education system. They taught that. They taught us that.
But there's really nowhere to plant it as well, though.
That's not true.
Can we plant it in this atmosphere in the wintertime?
Yes, we can.
Would a plant grow in the wintertime?
Yes, it can.
I don't know if it can grow in the winter.
Now, will it grow naturally? That's my point. That's the structure of the education system now. And that's why that was the most important reason why I wanted you on here. It wasn't to sell your water, but I wanted you to pitch your water. It wasn't to sell your knowledge. I want you to give your knowledge. But we have to address the things that attack our knowledge in our industry, our entrepreneurship.
Correct.
And what that is lack of knowledge.
Correct.
And the lack of emergency when it comes to it. The thing that makes me angry being a teacher is I'm teaching against the norm. So I'm the enemy. Now, you're selling water. That makes you the enemy too.
Oh,
because now you're teaching life. And if the industry is we make money off debt, now you're affecting people's their money. The scenario that got Christ killed, and you can say Christ conscience and all that, I don't really care. They should understand it. But the thing that made Christ the enemy was he flipped the money at the church, the temple. You will not do this in my Father's house. And when he upset the economic in the industry, that's when people took notice. So I ask you this question. Now that we have the understanding, what do we do with it? And how do we make it fruitful and multiply it?
Well, now comes a time where we have to be self-sufficient. We have to support each other as black people. We have to understand that when we support each other, we have to protect each other
And
as
spend
well.
money.
That's right.
Make sure we say spend money, because people will support you till you give them a price and they walk away like, yeah, I'll get you next time.
That's a fact. We have to support each other. We have to spend money on each other. We have to spend more intelligently. We have to put our money and our dollars where our black mouths are. You understand what I'm saying? We have to be able to get to a place where it's comfortable to spend on your own. It's comfortable to invest in your own. It's comfortable to, as a matter of fact, I'm looking for investment as far as, my company is concerned. I don't want to, right now I make my waters manually, but it would be good if an investor would come and say, okay, well, let's work on getting you a small factory. You know what I'm saying? So we could ship the goods out. We could get it done where you don't have to constantly keep making the waters over and over and over and store them and, and get them out. So, we have to use our money where we can be self-sufficient, where we don't have to depend on Coca-Cola. We don't have to depend on Pepsi and all these different brands that clearly are not giving back to our neighborhoods.
Now, let me ask you a question, because you said you make the water hand in hand. How many herbs is in your water? And what's the difference between your water and people putting lime and lemon in their water and not needing juice?
All right. So the difference between my water and different waters is my water can essentially be given maybe 7 to 8 herbs, sometimes 4. And I also follow the Dr. Sebi alkaline regimen as well. So I'm implementing a black man's knowledge within my product in order for us to keep his legacy going. Number one. Number two, a lot of people may say, well, that's like a tea. It is like a tea, but a tea is not concentrated as well. A tea, you'll boil the particular herb, you'll get that particular nutrient from the herb, but not in its potency. It's not the herbs that I put in, I strip the potency from the herb. So the herb is now 4 times more potent than you would get it if you would drink a tea. The formulas that I put inside of it as well is unique compared to any other formula that you see out there. So for instance, if you see a formula in a capsule form, I now have it in a liquid form, because like I was telling you before, the capsule only absorbs, the body only absorbs 39 to 53% of that capsule. My water is absorbed 98% of that particular herb and that particular function.
So what's the advantage of that over just putting lemon and lime in your water? Because that was a question from the live. Oh,
okay. The advantages of, because lemon and limes only serve one function. I'm using hard herbs. I'm using herbs like Cimaroba, Epazot, Quassia, You'll never find herbal water out there that has that in there. I don't care what supermarket you go to. Also, lemon and lime don't attack a particular function. Like, say for instance, let's say you're dealing with an intestinal issue. Lemon and limes are not gonna fix that overall. But if I put the quassia in there, if I put the bitter melon in there, if I put the gurvar in there, and things of that nature, now we have herbs that are designed to fix the small intestines. They go in there, they get rid of the parasites, and they fix that particular issue that your small intestine and your large intestines may be dealing with. So that's what separates my water from just water that you're adding lemon and lime to, because I deal with specific organs and specific functions. The lemon and lime, yes, it gives you a good health benefit, but I gear towards, and then on top of that, my water is made in different seasons as well. So last month I dealt with the intestines. This month we're dealing with the reproductive and the genitals. And the reason being is because I make my waters based upon the constellations. So right now, the Pisces constellation in the calendar that I created represents the genitals. So if we understand anything about electromagnetic energy, we understand that our sun gives us vitamin D. So if we use herbs that are prone to elevate vitamin D levels, now you're using the sun and you're using the herb, which is a conductor. That's something else that I also taught people, is that herbs are conductors. And what does that mean? A conductor is just like when you plug something into the wall and it gives that particular source energy. Now, if you plug herbs within you, you are using that herb as a conductor to the stars, which are also going to give you energy as well. So we have to understand this now goes all the way back into spirituality again. Now we're going back into the sun, we're going back into the herbs, we're going back into the waters and things of that nature. So lemon and lime, no disrespect to lemon and lime, but it's not going to do the biological functions as a particular herb that's specified for a particular body part or body organ.